It is my great privilege to welcome you to our law school diploma ceremony in the 199th year of the George Washington University and the 155th year of the law school. We are making history today, as this is GW Law's first ever virtual diploma ceremony. You have successfully completed your studies during a time of unprecedented challenge, and your hard work, perseverance, and dedication are nothing short of inspiring. Congratulations. To begin our ceremony, the U.S. Air Force Band of the West will perform the national anthem. I now have the pleasure of introducing the interim dean of the law school, Christopher Bracey. Dean Bracey joined the GW Law faculty in 2008, and he is an internationally recognized expert in the fields of U.S. race relations, individual rights, and criminal procedure. He served as the law school's senior associate dean for academic affairs from 2012 to 2016. Since 2016, he has served as GW's Vice Provost for Faculty Affairs, where he supports faculty members at all 10 schools across the university. We are grateful to have had his leadership at the law school this year as our interim dean. Please join me in welcoming Dean Bracey.
Thank you, Dean Hammond, for that kind introduction. Honored guests, family and friends of the graduates, colleagues, and most especially the class of 2020, I welcome you to this graduation ceremony. This is a very special day for our law school as we gather virtually to recognize the outstanding accomplishments of the class of 2020 Juris Doctor, Master of Laws, and Doctor of Juridical Science recipients. We know that you've been looking forward to this day for a long time, and that a virtual graduation isn't what any of us had in mind when we began this journey at the beginning of the school year. Despite the many challenges of this semester, you persevered to get to this moment and deserve to be celebrated. And so I congratulate you all. I'd like to extend a very warm welcome to our distinguished law school faculty. Usually the law faculty would be standing here with me to watch and celebrate you all today. Instead, they are watching with pride from home. I also thank our faculty for their dedication to preparing some of the nation's and the world's best and brightest lawyers and legally trained professionals, especially during these last few weeks. There's one more group that I would like to acknowledge and recognize. Without these important people, the outstanding men and women of the class of 2020 would not be here today. They have supported today's graduates, nurtured them, and have been their steady foundation through years of study. And so on behalf of the GW Law community, thank you to the families, the friends, and the significant others of our graduates. Now, I call upon the class of 2020 leader, Student Bar Association President Damilola Arwalaju, who will address us on behalf of the graduates. Dami?
Thank you, Dean Bracey. We can only react to what life throws at us. This virtual ceremony is not the ending we expected, but it is the ending that is required. Now, people say that an attorney must pursue justice. But what exactly is justice? What does justice require? If I ask my parents, they might say justice requires sacrifice. 22 years ago, they left Nigeria for America and the opportunity to pursue the American dream. When we arrived in America, we settled in a one-bedroom apartment, though not your typical apartment setup. Our apartment was located inside of a church, and we paid rent by cleaning the church as a family. And moving from that church to our new home, we couldn't pay the mortgage of that new home simply by keeping it clean. It required a promotion. And as one of the few Black people in this job, my father became convinced that a promotion wasn't in his future. He made the tough decision to leave the US for Nigeria, where he would work to send my brother and I money for support, while my mom worked tirelessly to support me and my brother by herself. I stand here today, a graduate of the George Washington University Law School, as a result of my parents' sacrifices and tough decisions. Mom and Dad, your sacrifices embody justice. Sacrifice requires hard decisions. To rule guilty or innocent, to vote yea or nay, to take the deal or walk away. These are some of the tough decisions that lay before us. And the outcomes can mean life or death, the creation or destruction of wealth, progress or stagnation. Our profession is characterized by service, so we know justice requires service. In pursuing justice for and serving others, it becomes increasingly important to do justice for our own selves and for those we love. Do justice to yourself by loving yourself. To love yourself is the beginning of a lifelong romance. Appreciate your accomplishments and your capacity for greatness. It was not until my 2L year that I learned to love myself unconditionally. I used to never think I was enough for myself or anyone else. Then I went on a journey towards self-discovery. I came to understand that my imperfections make me perfect, that I must not concern myself with people that would not accept me for me, that I must trust myself. Once you do justice for yourself, you can effectively do justice for others. We are pledging our lives to serving justice through the deals and arguments we make for her. We have hard decisions to make with hard questions to confront. You'll eventually craft, execute, defend, or adjudicate the law. As we are trained, before beginning any matter, we must find the facts, which requires looking at both sides. The facts lead us to the truth. Facts may vary in their ability to help or hurt a particular party, but the truth can never vary. There is not a conservative truth. There is not a moderate truth, nor is there a liberal truth. There is only the immutable truth. Cling to the truth even when it is hard and inconvenient. Cling to the truth, for it will lead you to justice and set you free. My fellow graduates, before making a decision, ascertain the facts, using them to lead you to the truth, the immutable truth. Then ask yourself, to serve justice impartially, what does she require right now? A seasoned prosecutor, like Professor Fairfax, may say, justice requires balance. A holistic, empathetic, and compassionate approach to the matter at hand. I remember coming into his office my 1L year frustrated about a criminal law case which did not sit right with me. He told me about a case that came before him as a prosecutor, which did not sit right with him, involving a defendant facing a harsh mandatory minimum sentence, and how he fought to avoid the application of that sentence to ensure the defendant was treated fairly and received justice, even if it meant going up the ranks of the Justice Department. Balance is understanding what is required at the right time, when to pursue a case and when to drop it. In our adversarial system of law, there are always competing interests, but we believe justice is served when attorneys on both sides zealously advocate and battle like gladiators to defend their clients' interests. When there's balance. But this requires that both attorneys are of equal ability when there's balance. So do we not position our legal systems to fail when we provide more resources for public prosecution than we do for public defense? Or does serving justice only require that a person receive their day in court, regardless of their ability to defend themselves? As an advocate, your most extreme arguments or offers are usually your weakest. Balance requires cooperation, knowing the right amount of compromise needed at the right time. Our federal courts are tasked with protecting counter-majoritarian interests that Congress, through action or inaction, decided not to protect through law. It's about balance. But we know these institutions work slowly. A deliberate structure that allows competing interests to lobby members of Congress so they can arrive at what they believe is the best solution for our country. But is this system not unbalanced when the lobbying is overwhelmingly done for corporate interests? As quick as the flicker of a flame, the novel coronavirus has ignited disarray in many of our lives. From afar, some of us have lost family members and friends without even the ability to give one last hug or kiss goodbye. Some of us now have to grapple with the uncertainties of securing employment in a market facing both a supply and demand shock. And we are all thrust in a thick fog, shrouding the cherished clarity and security of our near future. COVID-19 discriminates against no one. It is a disease that does not recognize nationality, status, or race. Likewise, justice is blind. She swings her sword and balances her scales regardless of the nationality, status, or race of those that come before her. But is justice blind when people of color disproportionately make up the defendants of our criminal justice system? And is COVID-19 indiscriminate when people of color disproportionately die from it? Responding to this virus is forcing us to confront contradictions of our own construction. How should a nation built upon life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness deal with the inherent exclusion of others from that reality? Perhaps we need to rethink what justice requires. This pandemic is exposing our weaknesses, bearing us naked to the immutable truth. In our country, in our world, justice swings differently if you are rich or poor, black or white, in the majority or the minority. I've come to accept that an exact understanding of what justice requires is unattainable, but only because justice is not a thing. Justice is what you do, how you do, and for whom you do it. Why? Well, because what justice requires depends on the situation at hand and tough decisions. We can never be sure of the outcome, but we know we have an obligation to serve her. I am asking you to craft a world that is characterized by impartial justice. This is a lot to put on a person's shoulders. So I'm also asking you to be kind to yourself. Understand that change does not occur only through one path, and that expecting perfection from yourself is the easiest way to disappoint yourself. I'm asking you to walk with purpose. Our words are precious formations. We must choose them carefully. Once released from our mouths, they no longer belong to us, and we can never get those words back. I'm asking you to speak with intention because you no longer speak for just yourself. This pandemic is teaching us how connected our lives are. It is forcing us to reconsider what is required to truly serve justice. We are too connected to allow each other to fail. We must band together as peoples united by no borders, but united as our identities as citizens of this world to eradicate our world's most pressing existential crises. Right now, it is the novel coronavirus, a virus posing novel problems for people, institutions in our world. This fight will require sacrifice, sacrificing the life we are used to for the life that is required. This fight will require service. Service first to ourselves by loving ourselves and serving justice impartially. This fight will require balance, balancing compromising enough to create change, but not so much that we lose sight of what we are fighting for. I promise the fog will clear. We will see a clearer and brighter tomorrow, and we will win this battle against the novel coronavirus. But thereafter, we must turn our gaze and fight the other ailments that plague our world. By now, we must realize we are in this fight together because our lives and paths are interconnected. Today, now more than ever. So my friends, this is not the graduation ceremony we expected. But rest assured, the George Washington University Law School's class of 20 is prepared to serve justice. Justice through sacrifice. Justice with balance. Justice is what you do. This world needs you. Your families need you. I need you. So depart today and do justice. Godspeed. Now it is my pleasure to recognize some outstanding members of the GW Law family who the class of 2020 has recognized with certain awards. The first award is the Staff Member Award. This first award is presented by the class of 2020 to the law school staff who has demonstrated commitment, energy, and concern for the students of the George Washington University Law School. The winner of this year's award is a beloved member of our law school community who serves the student body every day. It's Bobby Wallace. The next award, the Student Bar Association Distinguished Service Award, is conferred by the leadership of the Student Bar Association on the fellow student, staff member, or faculty member who, with little to no recognition, has regularly supported the Student Bar Association and devoted time, energy, and expertise to furthering the SBA's mission. The winner of this year's SBA's Distinguished Service Award is Dean Hank Molinengo, Senior Associate Dean for Administrative Affairs. The third award is the Student Bar Association Distinguished Dean Award, conferred by the leadership of the Student Bar Association on an assistant or associate dean who, with little to no recognition, has regularly supported the Student Bar Association and devoted time, energy, and expertise to furthering the SBA's mission. The winner of this year's SBA's Distinguished Dean Award is Dean Emily Hammond, Senior Associate Dean for Academic Affairs. The fourth award is conferred by the graduating class on a fellow student who has shared generously his or her time, compassion, vitality, and humanity during law school to aid the intellectual and spiritual growth of fellow students. These are qualities that were admired in Michael Dillon Cooley, who was the victim of a senseless crime. Mike would have been a member of the class of 1981. The recipient of this year's award is a student who has committed himself to not only serving the community at large, but also to helping our law school community become more involved and engaged in serving those less fortunate. On behalf of his fellow students, it is my pleasure to recognize AJ Link, winner of the 2020 Michael Dillon Cooley Award. This final award pays tribute to a very special member of the law school community, and it is my great honor to present it. The Distinguished Faculty Service Award is voted on and presented each year by the JD graduating class to a member of the faculty in recognition of exemplary teaching, scholarship, and service to the law school. On behalf of the class of 2020, it is my pleasure to present the 2020 Distinguished Faculty Service Award to Professor Sonia Suter. I'm pleased to recognize these individuals and thank them for the dedication to success for the class of 2020. Now, let me turn the program back over to Dean Bracey.
Thank you, Dami. It's now my honor to introduce and announce the winners of the Distinguished Adjunct Faculty Teaching Award. Our law school benefits from the knowledge and talents of approximately 420 part-time faculty members who teach a variety of specialized courses and serve as a vital complement to our full-time faculty of nearly 100 professors. They give so much of themselves to this law school on top of their busy careers as lawyers and as judges and as government officials. I am delighted to present the 2020 Distinguished Adjunct Faculty Teaching Award to Professorial Lecturer in Law, Aram Gavor, for his outstanding teaching and record of service to our law school. Now, let's turn our attention to the subject of student awards. A number of graduates received awards for outstanding achievement in their academic work, their moot court competitions, clinical programs, and community service. Their names appear in the Student Awards and Honors Addendum to the graduation program. We congratulate them all again. I'm now delighted to recognize two exceptional student award winners. The recipient of the Ann W. Branscombe Award is the member of the graduating class who attained the highest grade point average in the entire course of study in the part-time program of the degree of Juris Doctor. The winner of the Ann Branscombe Award is Stephen Peters. The John Bell Lardner Award is presented to the member of the graduating class of the law school who attained the highest cumulative grade point average for the degree of Juris Doctor. And this year's recipient is Paul Aylward II. Traditionally, at this point in our program, I would introduce our commencement speaker, and that speaker would share some words of wisdom for about 15 minutes or so. Today, instead of just one speaker, we have many. I consider today's commencement speakers as one of the silver linings of this pandemic. Usually, my colleagues on the faculty don't have a chance to deliver a commencement address, but today, all of that changes. And you all get to have one last lecture from some very familiar faces.
Okay, I'm ready. Where is everybody? Am I late? Did they send an email about this? I'm gonna call Dean Hank. Are we on today? What do you mean by virtual?
Oh, hi everybody. So, weirdest graduation ever, right? I know that this is a sorry substitute for dressing up in a medieval bathrobe and wearing a funny hat and sitting in a gym for 4 hours waiting for somebody to call your name so you can get a diploma. But let's make the most of it.
I suggest that you throw the nearest blanket or beach towel around yourself, find something that looks like a mortarboard, put it on your head with a tassel, and march around the room.
If nothing else, just think of the great stories you're going to be able to tell 50 years from now. I remember it like it was yesterday. The social distancing, the masks. I hope that you can find a shred of humor in the current situation, and more importantly, that you can find humor in all of the things that you do over the many years to come. But I have to confess that for me, there is a silver lining to all the craziness. Normally, I don't get the opportunity to speak to graduates as they head out the door, and now I do. I have a few seconds to actually say goodbye. And not only that, since I gave an orientation speech when you all first arrived at GW, I'm kind of like a human bookend to your law school career.
One of the greatest joys of my job is teaching GW Law students. I love your intelligence, passion, engagement, and well-roundedness. But what I think I love most about GW Law students is your strong sense of community. Year after year, I'm struck by the solidarity among my law students, the way you support one another and make it feel like we're part of a project larger than ourselves.
This semester, our lives turned upside down and the world changed in a way we never could have imagined. As we began to grasp the enormity of what lay ahead, we knew we had to adapt, but we longed for normalcy to return. But as we learned to adapt, we came together as a GW Law community, and boy did we rise to the challenge.
You're stronger than you think you are. Think about all your ancestors, all the way up to your parents, and all they did and struggled for to get you to where you are today. Use that strength to propel you forward.
Most of you know me as the guy who can't get the heating or air conditioning right in the school, always has a water faucet to fix, a microwave or refrigerator to replace, or a vending machine that requires repair. I'm also the guy who informs you when school is closed for a snow day or closed due to a problem with Metro. I've had the privilege to work with many of your SBA, Journal Skills Boards, other student organization leaders, and many of you. To a person, they demonstrated to me how remarkable your entire class is.
There are a few things that I look forward to at commencement every year, and I'm going to miss them this year. One is meeting the family and the friends whose perspective and love and support at critical times made this day really possible for every graduate. That's true of just about everyone in the class, but it's especially true of people who are the first in their families to go to college, let alone to law school. So special congratulations to them. And for those brave folks who reached this day almost completely on their own, I stand in awe of what you've accomplished, and I wish we could all say that in public to you.
As GW Law graduates, you have what it takes to practice law. You have a sense of professional identity, analytical skills, and substantive knowledge. But what you brought with you and what you take with you is what it takes to be a great lawyer.
More than anything, I just want to tell you how very proud I am of you. You have made your mark at GW Law over the time you've been with us, through student leadership, mentorship, creating new programs, entertaining us, and frankly, teaching us too.
When I think of all of you who I've gotten to know over the past 1 or 2 or 3 years, the first and deepest thing that I feel is gratitude. Thank you for giving me the privilege of your company as we learned together. You are enormously talented and inquisitive and dedicated, and those are qualities that will serve you well throughout your lives and legal careers, in crisis and in calm.
As you reach the graduation milestone, I hope that you will spend a little time to reflect back on how far you have come over the past 3 years. I can recall teaching many of you as 1Ls in my civil procedure class, and I had the great pleasure to see many familiar faces in my separation of powers class this spring. I have been so gratified to witness your development from students struggling to acquire difficult and unfamiliar skills to students who are masters of the most complex and challenging issues of constitutional law. I hope that you take pride in that development and that you feel you are ready to take on the next challenges, whatever they may be.
Your job is not always going to be fulfilling, but your job is not who you are. It's just what you're doing on the way to who you will become.
And I wish somebody at my graduation had said something like, you know, if the practice of law were like the study of law, nobody would do it ever. But it's not. It's better in many ways. And the autonomy that you get and the opportunity to help people and to live your dream is really like nothing else in the world. So it turns out that there is this cool transition right at the moment that your degrees are awarded. Really, when you cease being a student of your favorite teachers, whoever they were, and become their colleague, and they yours. And that's just a very exciting and special moment.
I will remember your class as the most activist, caring, passionate, determined, fun-loving, and compassionate class I have seen. May it be an academic event, student event, or morale issue, your class displayed a camaraderie and common sense of purpose, unity, and empathy the likes of which I have not encountered. You looked out for each other and you looked out for others. That is the highest praise that I can give you.
As I watched each and every one of you, individually and collectively, I was left in awe by your resilience, by your humor, by your friendship, and most of all, by your determination to succeed.
Lawyers are going to be vital participants in the effort to repair our world and to protect us all, particularly those most vulnerable among us.
A standard component of graduation remarks is to offer up some advice. So I'm going to share a few bullet points that I've borrowed from the great legal philosopher, Oprah. Be nice to little kids. Be nice to your elders. Be nice to animals. And know that it is better to be interested than interesting.
This sounds counterintuitive, but don't forget what it's like to think like a 1L. Keep asking, why is the law this way? Does this policy make sense? And if you think a law or a policy isn't fair or doesn't make sense, change it. You now have those skills.
You are now prepared to make a difference in a world that now, more than ever, needs you to make a difference.
Say thank you to people and actually mean it. And I would emphasize personally that this includes the folks who do your photocopying and the folks who make your cappuccinos and the folks who scan your groceries, as well as the partners and the senior attorneys you work with and the judges that you appear in front of.
Be true to yourselves. Hold on to the values that brought you to law school. Remember what gives you meaning outside your career. And don't define yourselves by what others choose.
Manage your finances. I know you don't have a lot of money now, but as soon as you start getting some, start putting some away. In 30 so years, you'll see yourself ready to retire or do whatever you want to do.
I would be remiss as a professor of criminal procedure if I did not remind you to always get your taillights fixed.
Ask for help when you need it. You'll need it, so ask.
That you have more control over your future than you might imagine. Even in these times of global events that make us feel less and less like we have control over anything, you can choose. Choose how to use your advocacy skills, your degree, your talent, your energy. Choose more than anything how to use your finite time.
Don't forget that you're human. I know you'll all bring hard work and dedication to your careers, but you will make mistakes and sometimes even fail. If you can take ownership of and learn and grow from those mistakes, and if you can show yourselves the same compassion that you showed one another, then I know that you'll thrive as lawyers and human beings.
Step out of your comfort zone. When you get that first job, look for people who are challenging, who look different than you do, who think differently. Unite with those folks, and I want to see you take over the world.
As the poet Mary Oliver would say, what is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life? You can choose, and we'll be waiting to hear what you decide and cheering you on.
And finally, she said, don't ever confuse what's legal with what's moral, because they're entirely different animals. In life, you're either principled or you're not. So do the right thing, especially when nobody's looking.
We are so proud of you. For some of you who came from different parts of the world and from different walks of life, you overcame hurdles and obstacles that only few of us can even imagine. And I really have to tell you that it is awe-inspiring.
Congratulations to the class of 2020.
Congratulations, class of 2020.
Congratulations on your great achievements. All the best in these challenging times and beyond.
Congratulations. I wish you all health, happiness, wisdom, and growth. I'll miss seeing your faces in the GW hallways.
It has really been my honor, and I don't say that as a matter of form. It has been my honor to get to know many of you over the past 3 years. I've always thought that GW Law students were amazing, wicked smart, but just insecure enough not to be arrogant. It's a powerful combination, and it's going to serve you well.
Congratulations, graduates.
Congratulations to the amazing GW Law graduating class of 2020.
Congratulations and be well.
Congratulations, you made it to this day. The GW Law School class of 2020 will never be forgotten.
Congratulations on an amazing job well done. I look forward to seeing what's next for you, because I know much more is yet to come. Stay in touch, always be part of our community, and I wish you good luck, good health, and success always.
I wish you great happiness and joy as you go forward in your lives. I look forward to sharing your triumphs over the many years to come, hopefully in person, and ideally with a drink in hand. Stay safe, keep smiling.
Where is everybody? Am I late?
Salagadoo, la metricaboo, la bibbidi bobbidi.
I pay the best in the West. That's it, the best.
You're welcome.
Thank you to my colleagues on the faculty for being part of this video. We will now scroll the names of our graduates, beginning with the JD students, followed by the LLM students, and concluding with the SJD students. The first member of the class scrolled across your screen is the student who earned the highest grade point average for the entire course of study in the JD program and is the winner of the John Bell Larner Award. That student is Paul Aylward II. The second student name scrolled across the screen is a member of the graduating class who attained the highest grade point average in the entire course of study in the part-time program and is also the winner of the Ann W. Branscombe Award. That student is Stephen Peters. We are privileged to have two outstanding graduates this year who are also receiving the degree of Doctor of Juridical Science. According to their thesis defense committees, both have produced major contributions to their individual subject areas and will be leaders in their respective fields. Congratulations to Nudrat Ijaz Piracha, whose doctrinal dissertation is titled Toward Uniformly Accepted Principles for Interpreting MFN Clauses, Striking a Better Balance Between State Sovereignty and Protection of Investors. And congratulations to Omri M. Sender, whose doctrinal dissertation is titled Stronger Together, the International Court of Justice, the International Law Commission, and their special relationship in shaping international law. And now, I proudly present to you GW Law's Class of 2020. As we approach the end of the ceremony, it's customary to conclude the proceeding with a charge to the graduates. Congratulations again to the class of 2020 on becoming graduates of the George Washington University Law School, and welcome to the distinguished community of GW Law alumni. This will be a commencement and a time in your life that you will always remember. But keep perspective. And remember that these last few months are just a small part of your legal training. You have all worked incredibly hard and at times slept amazingly little to reach this momentous and memorable day. You completed your law degree as the global COVID-19 pandemic upended our lives and tested us in countless ways. As we all sheltered in place, your homes became your classrooms and your study rooms as well. For many of you, finding a quiet space to study was not easy, and those of you with children at home faced additional obstacles. Despite these unique and challenging circumstances, you persevered, and all of us privileged to work with you are inspired by your relentless strength and spirit. We are proud to call you graduates of the George Washington University Law School. Today, we pass the torch to you, the newest members of our alumni family, as you write the next chapter in our law school's history and your own book. You graduate as professionals prepared to write, advocate, innovate, create, and pursue highest ideals of law and justice. Your time at GW Law has prepared you to impact the world, and the law school community looks forward to your future achievements. Please remember that with the knowledge and skills you have acquired comes a responsibility to enrich society and build a better world for us all. If you do, your rewards will be many. My charge to you today is to lead lives rich in meaning and powerful in contributions. You are our living legacy, and I applaud you not only for reaching this significant milestone, but also for what you are yet to accomplish. We will always remember the class of 2020 with special fondness for the challenges that you've overcome, and we look forward to celebrating in person with you next year. Until then, my very best wishes to each of you for good health, happiness, and success in all of your future endeavors. Congratulations and best of luck to you all. As we conclude our ceremony, I invite you and your loved ones back to Washington, D.C. to participate in the university's bicentennial commencement on the National Mall in May of 2021. As I recently shared, every member of the class of 2020 will be receiving a very special gift, a diploma frame with the GW Law logo, which will be arriving by regular mail soon. We hope you enjoy it along with your virtual yearbook and collection of well wishes from our faculty. Please stay safe, and we look forward to celebrating in person with you next year. Now, to conclude our ceremony, the alma mater will be performed by Millicent Scarlett, Professor of Voice, and Professor Frank Conlon, Professor of Piano.
Knowledge thy closest The candle fades away. But our dots full of stock, thoughts and dreams scattered. When you pull them all together, and how I can't know, no, I can't know about you. Only you must be true. You making my dreams come true. You make my dreams come true. Yes, it's you. Only you must be true. You making my dreams come true. Come true. On a night when my dreams become a screamer, when I'm messing with a dreamer, I can laugh it okay. And you please flush out my way out and wrap yourself around me, 'cause I ain't the way around me. And I know these things want to rest, because you, only you must be true. You making my dreams come true. You make my dreams come true. Yes, it's you, only you must be true. You making my dreams come true. Make my dreams come true. Make my dreams. Now listen to this. You do. Wanna play that game. You do. Private eyes, they're watching you. Is it your hoodoo? You do. I'm done on my daydream. On that sleep watching me over back now. Only you must be true. You making my dreams come true. You make my dreams come true. Yes, it's you. Only you must be true. You making my dreams come true. You make my dreams